Our cloud service gives you maximum security for all of your personal, professional, and legal documents. No matter where you are, no matter the situation, Legal Lockbox can securely bring you all of your important files to any connected device. Legal Lockbox. Where are your records?
Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. Call 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Alexa, open TV 33 Live. Alexa, open FM Detroit. Alexa, open FM Virgin Islands. Now you can listen to WHPR, TV 33, and WVIE on Amazon Echo. Don't miss a minute of your favorite shows. And find out how you can have your own show heard worldwide on Amazon Echo. For more information, go to FirestickTVNetwork.com or call us at 313-868-6612. The Watkins Broadcasting Company. Your radio is now on TV. Your TV is now on radio. WHPR 88.1 FM can now be heard and seen worldwide. The same platform that hosts all of your favorite content now has Your radio is now on TV. Your TV is now on radio. WHPR 88.1 FM can now be heard and seen worldwide. The same platform that hosts all of your favorite content now has WHPR TV and radio. Have your own radio or TV show on Roku with approximately 8 million homes starting as low as $50. Debut your music video, clothing line, church ministry, plays, or products. A limited number of slots are available, so act now. For more information, visit RokuDetroit.com or call 313-868-6612. You heard about it. Now come be a part of it. Roku Detroit worldwide. Approximately 8 million viewers.
Good morning, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33, WHPR or WHPS, whatever one you want to say. And I have a great show this morning. This studio is so full, and it's full of arts and athletes, my favorite things. And before I start, I'd like to talk about Willie Ford. As you know, Willie Ford is a friend of the show, and he's a friend of mine. He was also one of the original dramatics, and he passed away a few days ago. And I hear his voice right now in my ear. He was introduced to me by Ron Banks, of course, who had passed away about 9 years ago now. Yeah, golly. No, 8 years ago. Almost 10. Time flies, but anyway, cherish the people that you know. And I'd like to extend all of our sympathy to he and his family and his wife, who's been here in the studio herself. So may he rest in peace. Now, I'd like to introduce my first set of guests, and they are from the Detroit Repertory Theater, an actor and a director. We have David Wolber, who, what character do you play in Williston?
I play Tom.
Tom. I hear you're dastardly.
He's He's got a nice facade, though. He covers himself well.
Oh, I know people like that. And Cassandra, the director and wonderful person, and you work at the Rep. The Rep is kind of a lot of your life right now.
It is. It's I'm wearing 3 or 4 hats there. So,
Wow, amazing,
Yeah.
just amazing. Listen, so much is going on at the Rep these days. We're going to talk about the play and what's going on, but also we're going to talk about Reppin' the Rep, which is a big fundraiser about, deals with the 60s. You all remember the 60s. I was a little girl in the 60s. Willie Norwood, who'd be on my second segment, he reminded me of that I was just, maybe about 3 years old, but I heard about the 60s, And so we had a lot coming up. So let's get back to the current play, Williston.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what it's about?
Well, Williston, it runs from May 30th until June 30th. It's written by Adam Seidel, and it is about 3 oil leasing reps that go to Williston, North Dakota, to take advantage of this big economic boom and try to monopolize a lot of the resources.
Now, is that tribal land?
It is, and that's part of the premise, is that they're trying to get a huge plot of land from a Native American tribe. So it's very, very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And is the tribe resistant?
Yes. They have one leader, Jim, who's resistant to sell his land. He has about 14,000 acres of land, and they're trying to get onto it because most of their productive oil wells are around it. So they're trying to get onto the land to make even more money. And the way they go about that is a little, unscrupulous. So.
Well, greed is not good, even though in Wall Street, he said it was good. But the thing about it is people who want to acquire things use all different kind of methods, correct?
Absolutely. And so we see the different ways that these 3 different characters go about trying to achieve the same goal. And there's an intergenerational clash, which is kind of where David's character comes in.
When you say that, you mean younger folks and older folks?
Yes, so there's a millennial, and then there is someone who's older, so a 40-year-old and a 60-year-old, and the way they go about handling their business is vastly different. So we get to see that arc.
So how many characters are in the show?
3 characters in the show. 3 characters in the show.
Oh, just 3.
Just 3.
It sounds like a whole.
and we refer to a lot of people that you never see, so you feel the presence of like all of these other characters that are referred to in the script, but we only actually see 3 of them.
Well, let me find out a little about David. David,
Yes.
how long have you been acting?
For a long time. Yeah, I've started acting when I was 13 years old.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Wayne State. But I started acting when I was 13 in Western High School.
Western.
Yeah, in Parma, Michigan, so not the Western in Detroit. This
Parma.
is a tiny little town.
I've never even heard of Parma.
It's just outside of Jackson, so it's a little tiny town out in the middle of Michigan.
I try not to go to Jackson. But,
me too.
Yeah, I mean, because of the prison and everything. But so you started acting then.
Yeah.
And after high school, what did you do?
I went to Wayne State.
You went to Wayne.
For theater.
And were you doing theater at Wayne? What were some of the shows you did?
Oh, boy, that's a while ago.
Yeah, a long time.
Right?
Yeah,
Forget
you
about
can
this.
remember.
I was in Merchant of Venice.
Yes.
I played Bassanio.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was in
Shakespeare.
Love's
There we
Labor's
go.
Lost.
Oh,
Fuente
Shakespeare.
Overhuna. Yeah, so I was in a number of shows there. And then a lot of shows in the studio theater that they
I
used
love
to
the
run
studio theater
theaters all the
downstairs.
time,
It's
yeah.
so intimate.
Yeah.
So, have you done any commercial work?
I've done a little bit of commercial work. I've done some commercials and then some film work as well. But most of my experience is in the theater. I really love live theater. There's something about it, being in the room with the audience at the time, that's just...
A lot of people don't realize what live theater does for the actor.
Yeah, yeah. You get the feedback immediately.
Yeah, you do. You just, I need to monitor and adjust here. Sometimes
Right,
we have
exactly.
to monitor and adjust.
Absolutely.
So professionally, what were some of the shows that you've done?
Well, recently I've worked with Meadowbrook Theater. up in Rochester Hills. I was in Baskerville, the Sherlock Holmes mystery that was fun up there. The Snow Geese up there. I was in 1984, the classic Orwell piece up at Williamston Theater up by Lansing. That was one of my.
So you
latest
travel wherever.
He opened our season in Evidence of Things Unseen.
That's right. I was in Evidence of Things Unseen at the beginning of the season.
I saw that. Yeah,
I was in that one too. So
yeah. Well, that's great. Where do you plan to go with your acting?
I love working in Southeast Michigan. Yeah, so I want to keep working here. Yeah. So I'm going to go all over Southeast Michigan with my acting.
He's done so many things.
Tell me this. A lot of people audition. They love to audition. Do you like to audition?
I don't love to audition.
I don't blame you. Yeah. I feel, as a director myself, when people are up there auditioning, I feel their nervousness sometimes. Don't you feel it?
I do.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not able to put forth everything that they could do. So as a director, you have to kind of look at what they probably might be able to do.
Absolutely.
And that's when sometimes you call them back, too. Don't you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm a big fan of knowing, because the rehearsal process is such a long process, you have to be around these people for an extremely long amount of time. I like to make sure that we have a good rapport personally as well. So it goes beyond just your acting ability. It's also how are you in the room.
Right. Well, the chemistry of the cast is extremely important with anything. A team, a workplace, the chemistry, and whether or not people can get along.
Right. And people don't realize that being in a cast is a workplace. It's a workplace for actors. So I try to cultivate that environment, make sure it's comfortable for all.
It has to be comfortable because sometimes you have to act unlike yourself.
Absolutely.
You have to pull from different places and so forth.
Yep.
Oh gosh,
and you
I
can only do your best
about
work when you're
acting
safe.
all day. I just love it so much. I just love it so much. So you're going to keep acting around Southeast Michigan.
Yep.
Now, what if a movie comes along? Because I think more movies are getting ready to start coming to the state.
Well, that
People
would be
are
great.
kind of we have been protesting what had happened as far as the incentives are concerned. So, but the difference between theater and film is like night and day.
It really is. It really is. It calls for a different muscle, I guess. It's like working your legs versus working your arms. It's and you need immediate feedback, and you get immediate feedback, and it's such a vibrant and dynamic exchange with the audience and being up on stage. It's wonderful.
I agree, and I want to tell everyone that Cassandra has been in so many plays and she's won so many great awards. I mean, she's not only plays here, you did in Chelsea at Jeff Daniels Theater.
The Purple Rose?
Purple Rose Theater. And didn't you win an award?
I did. I think we both won Wild Awards that year. So he did for 1984, and then I did for a show that I actually did at the Rep for Countdown to the Happy Day. So
yes. She's fabulous.
Thank you.
If you don't go to the Rep, you're really missing a lot of great things.
Absolutely.
In fact, one of our next set of guests, she just saw the play Wednesday night and loved it. I hear it has some choice words.
It does have some strong language, so we do recommend that you leave the kiddos at home. But if you want to come out and just have a wonderful, wonderful time, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot to think about. We talk about a lot of issues that we will be talking about right now and going forward.
Yes.
Just the way our natural resources are changing in this country. So.
Yeah, well, it's not only there. I think about the inner city. I think about the people who are coming into certain neighborhoods and taking over the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And extending this little carrot to the people. And it's all relative.
Absolutely.
Metaphorically, it's very relatable. Very relatable. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to bring Daniel Herman up in just a second. So everybody, we're going to bring Daniel. He's on the board of the Detroit Rep. And we're going to be talking with Cassandra, who also works at the Rep, to tell you all the things that you can do. And then we're going to talk about repping the Rep.
All right.
So we'll be back in just a moment.
All right. Thank you.
You can have your own party on TV. Party with R.J. Watkins and the TV33 family when you hold your own Facebook watch party. Connect all your friends with our friends, and we can have a watch party together. Watch your favorite TV shows when you want, how you want, with your favorite people. Here's how it works. Log on to Facebook from your computer or tablet and go to the R.J. Watkins fan page at facebook.com/TV33WHPR, the one with the blue WHPR logo on the left. Like us. Click the word videos with the red tag that says live next to it. Then click the share button at the bottom of the video player and select start a watch party. Invite whoever you want. Your party will be recorded and archived for playback anytime you want.
I used to love The Boss. You know, that was my music. But, you know, YouTube didn't like me using that. And I didn't have all the money to pay Valerie Simpson. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I have with me Daniel Herman, and we still have Cassandra Freeman, the director of the great play Williston. And we're going to talk about not only the rep, but the fundraiser that's coming up in 3 weeks, Reppin' the Rep. Daniel, want to talk a little about that?
Yes, we're having our really exciting event with the 60s theme, different costumes, different outfits, and things that we remember from the, well, I almost remember from the 60s.
Hush, I almost remember too.
Yes.
If you're going to say that, I'll say it. But from the 60s, you know, afros. I was the first person on campus that year to wear an afro. And the funny thing about afros, we felt since, you know, that was real new for us.
Yes.
And if you're wearing an afro, that's like a boy. So every day I came out, I had to be sharp going to class because I didn't want, and then long earrings. Don't mistake me for no boy. I mean, I'm militant and everything, but don't mistake me for a boy. But anyway, yes, we're going to have Melvin Davis, Detroit Soul Ambassador. He's going to be doing a show. I'm going to work with people on improv. I'm going to actually have the guests pick out, this was before the show, they're going to pick out like a one line saying, you're late. And for example, let's just do that, Cassandra.
All right.
You're late.
I am?
You should know that you should have been here a half hour ago.
Nobody told me. I had no idea.
Oh, you held up things, as usual.
I'm sorry. I
Sorry wasn't late.
I didn't know. I didn't remember to charge my phone.
Don't cry about it. Just put on your apron and get out there and serve those people.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's all it'll be. People will pick something out, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
Because we'll get a chance to have the participants or the guests do some acting. It's going to be flowing champagne. Yes.
Oh, it's going to be that you can't imagine what, and it's so fun being up on stage and having that opportunity to, just have fun.
Yeah, and to act, it's nothing like it, and they'll get that, and then we'll go in to see this great play, and it's just going to be a good time. Then afterwards, we're going to party some more.
Yes, we are.
We have a tent. We're going to be outside. There's going to be a caricature person, I think, drawing pictures. If you've ever had your caricature done, you know, it's kind of not exactly your portrait, just a kind of exaggerated look of
Kind
your...
of takes your own feelings about what you're really about.
And not only that, we have great prizes. We have 50-50 raffle, right?
Yes, there is.
So
And a few second prizes, I think, or second and third prizes
second and
as well.
third prizes. Okay.
Everybody wins.
Can I win a prize?
Of course you can.
Oh, okay.
We
Okay.
wouldn't certainly exclude.
I have won one thing in my life, and that was a television. Well, in 1971.
That was a big event then.
Oh, yeah, well.
It
what
was
can-
probably color because, at that
Yeah,
point.
it was color. Okay. All right, then. All right. Yes, color was the deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that is on the 21st of this month, 3 weeks from today.
Yes.
And if you want your tickets, you, of course, can go into, there's so much. Go on the Detroit Repertory Theater website, or you could RSVP 313-868-1347, or LS Detroit Rep TH.
TH, yeah. I know.
It's a lot to remember. At Comcast.net. Or I have tickets. And we all know that the Detroit Rep is at 13103 Woodrow Wilson in Detroit. And it's the 62nd year. And what I like about the Rep is they stayed there through the riot and all, and did not leave the city like a lot of other entities. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. 62 years that they've been serving the city of Detroit, bringing world-class theater to the city, live, professional, indigenous, diversity-centered theater, and it just really doesn't get any better than that. It really is representative of all of the talent that we have in this area.
And
so
there's
many
a
things
lot
that-
of talent
Yeah,
in
absolutely,
Detroit.
absolutely.
And another thing, the reason why we're having this fundraiser, Reppin' the Rep. Oh, we're giving we're giving prizes for the best 60s outfit, too.
Yes.
Yes,
It should
yes.
be wonderful to see.
Yeah.
I can no longer wear my miniskirt.
Why not?
I looked at my thighs. They used to say back in the day, Brenda Perryman's legs and thighs were the same size. Not anymore. Not anymore. But also, the reason why the board gives this fundraiser is because we help finance the acting program there.
There's so many programs that that this will help. There's the Actors Workshop program that teaches acting to anyone over the age of 18. Daniel's son has participated
Yes,
in
he
that.
has. He loved it.
And then we also have the free summer festival coming up. There's just so many programs that it will help. So we encourage you to
Absolutely. And these are things that are open to the community.
Yes.
And that's
absolutely.
very important. Why don't you talk about raising funds, people having theater night?
Absolutely. So there's for any one of our shows or many of our shows, you can come back multiple times. We have an amazing fundraising package. So for groups of 150 or more, we have 3 different plans. You can have 150 seats, you can have 160 seats, or you can rent out the entire theater for 194 seats. And we service churches, we service schools, PTAs, family reunions, all sorts of organizations can benefit from having an event
And
there.
it's economical.
Absolutely,
Very
absolutely. Our prices are already low at the door, but when you do a fundraiser, even more so. So what would be a $20 ticket is then a $7 ticket, and so anything that you raise in surplus of that is yours to keep. So it's a
Yeah,
great
and a
way
lot
to
of
raise funds for your
sororities and
organizations.
And I've done that several times
Yeah.
for various organizations, and it really works out well. And everybody has a great time.
Yeah. So you get the advantage of having a wonderful night at the theater, and all of our wonderful hors d'oeuvres, and just a really,
An
really great
open
atmosphere.
bar.
Yes, a cash bar.
I
And,
had to mention that.
And-
It
and
isn't
great
open.
food.
I just say it's open, but it's cash. I guess you just.
It's open for business.
It's open for business.
Thanks for cleaning that up, Daniel. But it's going to be a good time, and it's 3 weeks from today. The event, Reppin' the Rep. And the reason why we kind of chose that 60s theme is because this is the 60th year of Motown.
Yes.
And I want to highlight Motown everywhere I
Yes.
go because this is really a part of our heritage.
It's a
Absolutely.
huge part.
A
yeah.
huge part. And I think everyone who watches my show regularly knows I've had various people from Motown on my show. And it was important back in the 60s when I was a little girl. I was listening to all those Marvin Gaye tunes and stuff, and I said, Mama, who's singing that? But anyway, and the Supremes, we patterned ourselves after the Supremes, because in those days, like the Supremes, Martha and the Vandellas, they dressed like ladies, they didn't look like thug life, they didn't have everything hanging out, and so forth. It was just a different day, I guess.
And it's
Those
still
were
so
great
influential
days.
now. You
It's
know, I
still-
used some of the, when I did the sound design for the show, I used some of the 60s music. And
Of course.
I sampled it with the new music that uses it today. So it's a nice little meld of,
Yeah, that was very
the 60s.
effective.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
effective.
I hope so.
Last night was wonderful opening night, and it was a wonderful performance.
Yes, yes.
looking
Well,
forward to
I
that.
would have been there, but my grandson had a vocal concert.
Oh.
And I stood up there seeing him just move his mouth. But anyway, I said I should be at the rep. But, you know, you got to support those grandkids.
That's for sure.
So, once again, Williston opened.
We opened last night. We run until June 30th. Shows are on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you have more than enough opportunity to get there. And then our Repping the Rep fundraiser is on...
June 21st, 6 o'clock.
Curtain is at 8 o'clock
Curtain
instead of
is
at
at-
8:30.
Right,
when
curtain
it
is at
usually
8
is.
o'clock.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
It's gonna be
fun-filled
wonderful.
night, you
It's
know.
going to be wonderful. I'm glad to know about the costumes. I can't wait. I'm going to win.
It's going to be,
for you.
it's going to be great fun. Hula hoops, I think, and we'll be doing
God.
all those. Remember the dances? Well,
Oh, well, of course.
I mean, we saw it on TV at some point.
Yeah, at some point I saw them doing the bop and the calypso and all those great dances, green onions. I mean, there are a lot of things. So listen, everyone, I want you to stay tuned for my next set of guests. We're talking about 3-on-3 basketball. And one of my guests is Mr. Willie Norwood, former pro player. Still looks like one, still young. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. And don't forget the rep. Look at Repertory Theater online or on Facebook, and you're going to see about our fabulous month.
All right. Yep. Thank
Can't
you.
wait.
Cannot wait.
Alexa, open TV 33 Live. Alexa, open FM Detroit. Alexa, open FM Virgin Islands. Now you can listen to WHPR, TV 33, and WVIE on Amazon Echo. Don't miss a minute of your favorite shows. And find out how you can have your own show heard worldwide on Amazon Echo. For more information, go to FirestickTVNetwork.com or call us at 313-868-6612. The Watkins Broadcasting Company.
Well, we had the arts, now we have basketball, my other favorite thing. I'd like to introduce Mr. Willie Norwood.
Thank you.
And Miss Sandra Pickens. Pickens?
Yes.
All right, I got that right. And Sandra is the president of the Littlefield Community Association?
Yes.
Okay, Sandra, come on, speak up. Okay, and I know she can speak louder. I know, we all know that.
We know
She's getting
that,
on
we know
television
that.
being a little shy, but this is going to rerun a lot. So we want everyone to know about this great event that's happening next week, Friday. Now, Willie Norwood, a lot of you would know him from basketball, pro basketball, so let's talk a little bit about that. Willie, you went to Alcorn?
Well, back when I went there, it was Alcorn.
Oh.
But still, I got up north, it's
Well,
Alcorn.
no. The reason why I say Alcorn is because when we got down there,
It was
they
the
said,
cornfield.
call us, no, it was like a freedom ride, but they said, call it Alcorn.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the only reason, because I
Yes,
said
yes,
Alcorn.
yes.
So how'd you get there? Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Marshall High School in Mississippi, in Greenwood, Mississippi. And I was so fortunate that I went to school on a football scholarship.
Really?
And I ended up playing pro basketball. But
Well,
my goal was to go to college to get an education. I had no idea that I was going to play professional basketball. I was so blessed to be playing against Grambling University. They came to scout Grambling because they had known nothing about Alcorn because we were so far back in the woods.
right.
But after the basketball game, they said you better go and see that boy Willie Norwood.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to get drafted by the Detroit Pistons.
Right.
And the Kentucky Colonels. And also got drafted by the San Diego Chargers in football.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got drafted with football and basketball?
Yes, only player that came out of the South that got drafted by three professional teams.
Wow.
Football with the San Diego Chargers, basketball with Kentucky Colonels and the Detroit Pistons.
What year was that?
Last year.
Oh, okay. I thought so. I knew it couldn't have been that far back.
No, that was back in 1969. And I ended up playing 8 years in the NBA, 1 year, 18 months over Europe. I had an opportunity to live in downtown Paris.
Downtown Paris.
Yeah, Paris.
We call it Paris. Yes, yes.
When I first got there, they asked me, could I speak French? I said, I can't hardly speak English, come from Mississippi.
That was funny. So did you have a difficult time with the language initially?
Yes, because that's what Bonanza was a number show on TV.
Bonanza.
Yeah.
Oh, I said, what?
And then I would try to watch TV every day with in French, and you couldn't talk to nobody. And I think this might be the first time I left Mississippi. I landed in Paris.
Wow.
You talk about,
You know, that's a good story for a film.
yeah, that's the first time I ever felt lost in my life.
Really?
Yeah, because there was nobody there to meet me when I got to the airport.
Really?
Yes.
So how did you find your way?
This little girl came up to me. She was American. She was about 8 years old. Said that about 3 o'clock, there was the basketball player was there to meet me. Now, it was at 3 o'clock. I flew to Paris at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh.
So they said, go and look in the box where they leave messages. My name is Willie Norwood. Looked at the W, when nothing on the W. Then I looked at the N, when nothing on the N. So I said, well, what should I do now? I went through all ABC, all of them. So I found notes that come to hotel so and so and so and so. I can't pronounce that long word in French, but so I ended up getting a cab. It took me about 90 miles there, and when I got there, it was just a great feeling of hear somebody speaking English after traveling for 2 days.
Wow, amazing. You felt at home.
I felt at home.
So you came back. Did you decide to settle down in this area?
Yes, I stayed here when I got here with the Pistons. I was here for 5 years. Then I got traded to Seattle, Washington. And then I played for Seattle and Portland. Then I got traded back to Detroit. But I always kept my home here because when I first came to Detroit, that was before the ride. And I called home and told Mama, I said, Mama, if I could lucky enough to play professional basketball, I want to play in Detroit because I never seen a brick house before.
A brick house?
Yeah, I never seen a 2-car garage.
Oh, okay.
So every house I saw was just so beautiful here. And
Wow.
I wanted to live here in Detroit. And I'm glad I
Greenwood, Mississippi.
Yeah.
How far is that from Jackson?
It's about 100 miles.
Oh,
But
okay.
there's so many great people come from Mississippi. It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
All the blues come from Mississippi. The B.B. King.
Yes.
The Muddy Waters. You know.
Yes, yes.
I know you can relate to that.
Who says?
You say you go back in the 60s now.
Yeah, I heard about it.
And we got to come, when we come to the dance, we have to have afros.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
have no afro now.
I know. Well, I try to stay halfway natural.
Right.
I wasn't a natural blonde. Somebody actually said to me the other day, I showed them a picture of me in senior year, and they said, that wasn't your color. I said, heck no. I mean, my color. But anyway, So you decide to stay in this area
Yes, yeah.
and raise a family?
Raised a family. I have 2 sons. One teacher at Wayne State, also teacher at Oak University. The other athletic director here in the public school system.
Oh, okay.
And my daughter-in-law is Dr. Norwood at Dover School, where we're going to have the 3-on-3 basketball tournament in class.
Right, and that's where I could bring Sandra in. When you talk about the community, the Littlefield community, how did you all get involved with this?
It was through some mutual friends. I believe it was Dr. Norwood over at Noble. She mentioned about her father-in-law. So we decided to talk with her and then have her introduce him to us.
Well, the former NBA players, what is it called, the association called?
We have chapters in every NBA city, and I'm the president of the National Basketball Retired Players Association, where we go out in the neighborhood and use basketball as a mecca to get the kids out. Once we get them there, we go through drills, but the main thing is get them down election about life. They have a station where we're going to talk about the various staying in school, the various getting their education, the various know how to have a wife, have a family, just life period. But we use basketball as a mecca to get them there. But once we get them there, they'll
usually stay, and they'll start forming their mind something else,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And see, a lot of people don't realize that even as a part of schools, a lot of kids would come to schools. You know, I was in the performing arts. I was head of fine and performing arts at Southfield and taught acting. A lot of kids came to school just for that.
Yes, they
Absolutely.
did.
Yes, they came to school just to be in the plays or to learn acting. Or a lot of the athletes come to school to, you know, be a part of basketball or football.
That's true.
Those are those are things that are very important.
Absolutely.
Now, we have a call. We have Tony on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Is this Mr. Perryman?
Yes. Do you have a question or comment, Tony?
How you doing? I just wanted to say hello to Miss Pickens. This is Mr. Barrett on Ohio.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Oh, well.
How are you?
It's good to see you. You pass me every day. I'm trying to get your attention. Maybe you'll wave at me one day.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
That's me there.
Well, next time you see me, just pull me over.
Activity, and you know, I pretty much lived on that playground.
Okay.
Well, thank
So
you.
what's going on over there as far as basketball that I might be able to get involved in?
Well, you have to listen and see, because we have just a limited amount of time. But, you know, she said flag her down next time you see her.
I sure will.
Oh, okay. Thank you for
All right.
calling, Tony.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, well. Anyway, so this is the 3-on-3 live in the D, 3-on-3 in the D, and it's a basketball clinic and tournament. I would have loved for my grandson to come, but he has school that day on the 7th. But
He can come on the 8th. Actually, the clinic that Mr. Norwood and his friends are doing is the clinic for those that are able to make it. Now, if you can't register that particular day, you can come Saturday morning. Registration will start about 8 or 8:15, and any child that wants to come, all children from the ages of 10 and maybe even 9 can come and register from 9 to 17, and the tournament will start later on that particular
well,
day.
here's my question. What if someone is watching and their child isn't that good at basketball, they want to learn more? Will there be a chance for that to happen?
Absolutely. That's what we're there for. We have several retired players there to teach the basketball skill. We got Dave Beam, our former mayor, be there. Derek Colbert, with the hometown guy. Myself. We're going to have about
Earl Currington, Maceo Baston.
Yeah, Willie
Burton, he's been on the show.
Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of guys there to teach some skills, but it's not going to happen overnight. It took a lot of practice, a lot of time out of to get where I am.
Oh,
Just like what you doing. It just don't happen, but we can give them the basic fundamentals. And every kid that come there gonna get a free basketball, free backpack, free T-shirt, free food, and basketball skills.
Well, what's the price?
Price? It's price. I'm surprised you said price.
I'm just saying that so you can tell the audience.
It's free. Everything
it's
is
absolutely free.
Yes,
Everything
it is.
Absolutely free. You hear that, everybody? That's
right.
June 7th. Now, remember, we're going to say this, 9 a.m. to 3. It's over there at Littlefield Park, which is at 8646 Fullerton. Now, at the Littlefield basketball courts. But if you can't come, you could still come the next day, which is the 8th in the morning, and you could register at 8 o'clock in the morning, right?
And one thing, you do not have to have a team to come and participate. We will connect you with other guys to play. You can bring your kid there as an individual. We have someone to put in with another team. And so that's another way of getting people to know each other and connecting and relate to other people.
Absolutely. Tell them and tell everybody the value of teamwork.
Well, that's going to follow you the rest of your life because you can't make it in this world by yourself. And like I said earlier, we use the basketball as a mecca. And some of the guys that I got, kids coming from the suburbs, they've probably never been into the city before, but there's no telling who you're going to run across later on in life. It might be your doctor, might be your lawyer, your wife, so it's just a connection.
Well, not only that, my son played down in Powell when he was little, because he was a suburban kid, but he played with Willie Mitchell, Jason Weber, all those. They, the mixing, that's very important, and in order to be good, I made sure he played in the city.
Right.
And something else that is very important is this is the first annual 3-on-3 in the D basketball clinic tournament in the city of Detroit. And we're very excited about that. And we're looking for all children to come and enjoy this whole weekend because Saturday is a family day. And we're also asking when they do come to at least bring your parents because they have to sign some forms.
Oh, of course.
Very important.
10 to 17.
Yes,
ages
10 to 17.
10 to 17. And then there's going to be a tournament. Well, you have it here on Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday, yeah.
What time's the tournament Saturday? I mean, it says 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yes.
Oh, so we'll get the little training on
Friday.
And on Friday, and then a little bit on Saturday.
A little bit on Saturday morning, yes.
Yeah.
And the games begin.
Golly.
And one thing about this, I have a success story to tell. When I first got to Detroit, we had something similar, the same thing. That had a day basketball clinic. And I had this kid who was one of the toughest kids in the city. He was 11 years old. And I was determined to make this kid be successful. But I just almost gave up on it. Fast forward 30 years, I get on the airplane in Seattle, Washington. And by me being tall, sitting on the airplane, they say, "You must be a basketball player." I said, "Yeah." "Who you play for?" The Detroit Pistons. Looked over the pilot seat, a little black guy. And guess who that black guy was?
Who?
The guy that I met at 11 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I had tears in my eyes.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
He was a pilot of the plane. I almost got off. But.
Oh, wow.
So you never know who you touch when you go out there and make it with your kids.
Absolutely. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Well, we have two other people who are here, and we're going to quickly interview them because they're part of this Littlefield Community Association and Happy Homes, and I want to find out about that. But definitely, you are welcome to come back to the show anytime.
Thank you.
And maybe we'll have an athletic thing going on to talk about the value of sports. I'd like to devote some time, maybe you and a couple others.
You good, you read my mind, because I was going to bring some more athletes here that we can sit down and have a round
Well, yeah, we'll have a panel conversation about that.
Absolutely.
Because I found it did a lot for my son. You know, after he retired from basketball, he's now head of He's director of Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, the textbook company for the state of Michigan and state of Ohio.
Great. That's
You
fantastic.
know, this is a little kid. Me and him, after his first basketball season, sat on the side of the bed. I'm crying, he crying, because he had flunked all his classes. I said, you know, and it took a lot of hard work, but you know, they become successful. The parents, and the importance of parents. Parents have to stick with these kids.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So who gonna win the NBA championship?
Well, are you for Toronto?
I ain't gonna tell you.
Okay.
After last night, I went for Toronto.
Did Toronto win?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think, you know, sometimes teams rise to the occasion to beat the so-called champion, so they just might win. Was Drake there?
Yeah,
Was he clowning?
Yeah, but no, they didn't quiet him down a little bit. They didn't quiet him down. I don't know what happened, but he quieted down a little bit.
Oh, let me get the pastor on, and let me get Charlotte
Look, we
on.
need some prayers
We'll be
up here.
right back. Yeah, we need to. We'll be right back in just a moment, everyone.
Now you can watch WHPR TV 33 on Fire Stick. Catch all of your favorites. Stay informed. Don't miss a minute of your favorite talk shows. Call, text, tweet, post. WHPR TV 33 is worldwide on Fire Stick. For more information, go to FirestickTVNetwork.com or call us at 313-868-6612. WHPR TV 33, a Watkins Broadcasting Company.
Oh, he said, we're hot, we're hot. Yes. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I got a reverend right next to me. Anyway, hi, Pastor Henry.
Hello, how are you?
Anthony Henry right here. And we have, Charlotte Blackwell.
Yes.
Are you a member of the Blackwell family?
Yes, I am.
I know a lot of the Blackwells. Brenda Blackwell, do you know Brenda? Oh, well.
No, my aunt probably knows everybody. She's the keeper of the family.
Okay. And it's so important because, Charlotte, you're president of Happy Homes Community Association, correct?
Yes.
And then, Pastor, you are
The
chairman of the Littlefield
Community Association.
Okay, why don't you speak into the mic and tell us what that's about?
I'll let you go first, Pastor.
What are you
Well, Littlefield Community Association has partnered with Happy Homes Community Association, and therefore we're doing our 3-on-3 in the D, which is a free tournament for the children of the city of Detroit from the ages of 10 to 17 years old.
Okay, I forgot to ask if anyone wants to find out anything about it that we didn't say on the last one. They could call you, Charlotte, at 313-320-3872, or Carol Pickens at 313-289-2831 if you want to know about that. So it's so great when the community gets involved, isn't it?
Yes. That's what we want to do, bring the kids out. We want to put down those phones, put down those iPads, and get out and play. Get out and work. Use your body, exercise.
Well, yeah, exercise is so important. And tell me about Happy Homes.
Well, Happy Homes, what I found out was a community association back in our neighborhood 20-some-odd years ago. And so I wanted to start a neighborhood association in my neighborhood. I'm professionally trained at Wayne State University in urban planning. And I said, hey, to start, I got to start at home. And so I did my little door knocking, got my little flyers out. Some of my colleagues from Wayne State went out with me, and I thought I was starting a new community association, only to find out that it was just a rebirth. And so all the neighbors said, we want to keep Happy Homes. So that's how Happy Homes came about. And then not too long after we formed, we met Littlefield, and we've been
You kind of merged.
Yes.
Pastor, what church are you with?
I'm at the Gospel Church of Faith. It's at 19248 Grand River.
19248 Grand River.
Yes, in
our
Detroit.
favorite street.
That's right.
And that's our favorite
Grand
street, Grand River. It's funny because Pastor and I were talking. We ended up living on the same street and didn't know it.
That's right.
Back in the day. Detroit is a small town USA, and some of the things that are going to come out of this tournament, not only just the basketball skills, they're going to have mentoring discussions with players, encourage positive behaviors. And one of those positive behaviors, I believe, would be settling conflicts.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park.
WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
The views.
A fitness community studio that is passionate, determined, and supportive. Whether you're here for a day or committed to years, we've got exactly what you need. Good, clean, safe environment, ultimate memberships, one-on-one personal training, group fitness, small group training, Zumba, yoga, classes designed especially for seniors, boot camp, and even something for the kids. All instructors are certified and trained. Call or visit today to be on your way to a healthy lifestyle. You can have results or excuses, not both. Call 248-987-8318. That's 248-987-8318. Complete Victory Fitness, 23120 Coolidge Highway in Oak Park, Michigan.
Alexa, open TV 33 Live. Alexa, open FM Detroit. Alexa, open FM Virgin Islands. Now you can listen to WHPR, TV 33, and WVIE on Amazon Echo. Don't miss a minute of your favorite shows. And find out how you can have your own show heard worldwide on Amazon Echo. For more information, go to FirestickTVNetwork.com or call us at 313-868-6612. The Watkins Broadcasting Company.
Hello, 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 hello. This is WHPR, Legal Issues and Health. I'm your host, Carl Williams. My co-host, Gloria Searles, won't be with me this week because she's on vacation, which was well-deserved. I need one myself, but this information that I got to give to you need to be out immediately. And a lot of things have been going on, and as always, I've asked you to have your reference tools. Your reference tools is your state constitution, your federal constitution, your Detroit City Charter, and your basic human rights pamphlet. You need all of those because all of those rights are going to be very, very important, especially with the things that's going on around in the community. As far as the charter is concerned, you need to know about the charter. And, one thing I did forget, the Roberts Rule of Order. You also need that. All the commissioners should have one, but apparently they don't. If they do, they're not reading it. So you need one so you can make sure that they are following the protocol in accordance to the Roberts Rules of Order and the Open Meetings Act, which that has not been done, and that has been the biggest problem with this charter commission throughout. And there's some things that are happening that you need to know, so call your friends, family members, associates, relatives, whatever. Call them because they need to hear this information that I have to bring to you. I just found out some of these things myself, and with the time constraints that we have, this information that I'm passing to you, you need to pass it along to all your friends, because we have limited resources as it is, and there's only a few places that you can get the real information that you need to get, and this is it. Most of the time when you get the same information from 2, 4, and 7, they put a spin on it and leave out some of the necessary things, essential things that you need to know. And people have the different perspective of what's going on with them charter meetings. That's why you need to be there. You need to be there so you can see for yourself what is really going on. Now, the last meeting that they had was really a show and tell. It lets you know who the commissioners really are. I mean, it was at not Cobo, I'm keep talking about Cobo. It was at the City Hall. And they really were comfortable, and they showed it. They violated the people's community's rights, which that has never happened before. They violated your right, and they violated the spirit of the Open Meetings Act. Yes, they violated, and I'm saying it, and there will be a complaint to follow up to get those rights back. One of the things that they did, some of you may have heard, and if you haven't, they have just going to eliminate Saturday's meetings. That's a violation of the people's and the community rights. You only have 2 days official to attend these charter meetings, and that's on Tuesdays at 6 and on 12 on Saturdays, which is the fourth Saturday. So what they're doing, they're trying to eliminate the community participation in the charter process illegally. I said, now you need to understand what's really going on. Now, if the public and the community was not being effective, they would never done that. Now, you're talking about lawlessness, you're seeing it right before your eyes. And they know that they're doing it. This is not no accident. Richard Mack, he's an attorney. And you got a couple of other attorneys on there. I think Tracy Peter claimed that she was an attorney. You got all these attorneys on there. So the things that they are doing are intentional. And it's done to limit or eliminate the people's participation in the charter process. See, they forget that even though Dan Gilbert and Duggan may have gave them the money, they only got one vote. We are their boss. We are responsible for them being there. And just like we were responsible for them being there, we can be responsible for taking them out. And we don't have to wait until their time expired to do that. See, but we're going to have to stop talking, and we're going to have to start doing. And we have did some things that a lot of you viewing listeners may not be aware of. Just about every meeting they have, I have submitted violation of the Robert Rules of Order and the Open Meetings Act. So everything that they have done, every meeting that they had, really can be canceled out. And it only take one step, and that's just to go into court, really, because everything else has been done. Anytime that you think you that big and bad that you can infringe on the people and the community rights, well, then you didn't fell out your tree. But they think they could do it because they feel comfortable down there in the city county building in the devil's den, so they feel relaxed. You know, they feel like they can flex their muscles and ain't nothing going to happen. But we got things in the mix that we are planning, and there will be about 4 or 5 complaints will be filed. And people need to understand what's really going on. So you got the Charter Commission, and you got people who are responsible on that Charter Commission for doing certain things. And one of the things that they need to be responsible for, which I tell them every meeting that I go to, they have failed to notify the public properly and effectively. Now, what I mean by effectively, they are doing the same thing that they've been doing. Despite all the other suggestions and avenues that they have to notify the public, they have not used them as of yet. And I've been telling them this ever since back in November. Every meeting they had, I always tell them it's like a broken record. Y'all have failed to notify the public. Now, the only thing that they do is put a notice in the city county building. How many people really go down to the city county building that participate in this charter process? They know it's very few people that go down there. And why would you have to go all the way down to the city county building in order to see where the meeting's at? I told them they got public broadcasting stations that allow you to make these announcements free. I've told them that numerous of times, and they have yet to make an attempt to do that. You got billboards. Everybody know about billboards. They haven't purchased one billboard or handbills. No handbills. That's another way that you can notify the public. They got a surplus. Now, you mean to tell me they couldn't put an electronic billboard on the east side and an electronic billboard on the west side to notify the people? Now, those just some things off the top of my head. So it's very obvious, plain and clear, that they don't intend to notify the public. They don't want your input. Because what they're doing is not in your best interest. And I say they really haven't did anything. Everything that they have done so far really has been basically just trying to conduct a meeting. Now, they had a parliamentary procedure, I guess you would call it like a seminar or class. I went to it, and not a one commissioner showed up. Not one. And every last one of them should have been there. Bar none. All of them should have been there. None of them showed up. See, that's a problem right there. Even if you think you know what the process is, you never know. When you get to the point where you think you know everything, well, then that's where you done lost out. That's when you stop growing. That's when you stop being effective. And I say it was a good little meeting. There's some few pointers that they could have learned. And one thing that they did stress and talked about, well, they talked about the Robert Rules of Order. Well, that's one of the things that they need to know. Because that's what they adopted. They adopted the Robert Rules of Order and the Open Meetings Act. But they're not going by it. They're not going by it. And that's why every meeting that they have, I'm filing a written complaint. So that'll be part of the records to show that they continually and consistently violate the Roberts Rule of Order and the Open Meetings Act. Nothing has changed. And one big problem I have with them is every time they make an error or they want to change something, one thing that you're supposed to do, and they should be aware of it because they did it once and they haven't did it again, it's like when they was having this big ado about the dates, March the 30th and March the 23rd. Well, March the 23rd was the legitimate date. March the 30th was not the legitimate date, and that was the date that Richard Mack wanted to have. So they end up having a meeting on both of them dates. But what the people need to understand, that according to the Robert's Rules of Order and the Open Meetings Act, everything that Richard Mack has done from that time, which was the 30th, and all the meetings up until this point, technically is illegal and invalid, which I have told him in writing and otherwise. Because the first thing that they were supposed to do, they supposed to have went back and rescind the date of the 23rd. Then after they rescind that date on the 23rd, then they could have moved back and changed it and then went forward to the 30th. But they never did that. Instead, they had one on the 23rd, and then because of a lot of the confusion, they end up having one on the 30th. Which the one on the 30th was an illegitimate meeting, because according to the Robert's Rules of Order, only the people who, I guess, have the majority vote are the ones who can issue a reconsideration. And during the time when they was discussing and they had a meeting, Richard Mack was in the minority. He failed. He was not in the majority, so he was ineligible to even consider any of the stuff that he's doing now. So you need to know that. See, that's why you need to have these reference books. That's why you need to have your Robert's Rule of Order. That's why you need to have your Charter Commission, your state and federal constitution, and your basic human rights, because that's going to be the icing on the cake as far as the benefit for the people and the community is concerned. They need to get familiar with those rights, because when you really understand and truly understand how you got your rights, the court or nobody else have jurisdiction over them, because those rights were given to you by the Creator. So what a judge can do when you go to court, which I have mentioned this before, is submit. If he don't submit, well, he's not in agreement with the Creator. So if you're not in agreement with the Creator, well, he must be serving Satan. I mean, it's just that simple. See, it's just that simple when you understand. But I guess, it's some of these things that I'm saying is kind of new to you for the first time hearing, and maybe you have heard it before. But it can't be emphasized anymore. They need to be continually talked about, because those are some of the things that in the future we need to know. One of my sayings is, what's the difference between a slave and a free man? Well, the difference is a slave don't have any rights. A free man has rights. But if he don't exercise those rights, and he don't know what his rights is, then he can be manipulated just like a slave. And that's what's happening to us. You don't hear nobody, when you talk about the Constitution, you're talking about the basic human rights, they don't want to even look at those books. They'll walk right past them, or take some and stack a pile of papers on top of them, instead of picking them up and looking in those books. And it's just like any other book. It's in sections. And you go to that particular section that you want to know about, or that you're looking up, and you go to that section and you read it, which is no more than about 2 or 3 pages. But we look at the book, and it's saying you really can read the whole book. Then it is. There's both of them. This is the United States Constitution, which they have this also in a real smaller form, a version. You see how thin this is? Not very thick. This is your state constitution. It's thinner than the Fed Constitution. But the only reason why this is so thick, because it has some background and some more information about each of the individual rights. Like the 14th Amendment, it tells you some things about the 14th Amendment that you don't hear them really talk about the penalties that you get from infringing on the 14th Amendment. Did you know that a state can lose its right to vote if it can be proven that they have infringed on the people's right to vote, or in any way infringed on that right? Now that's some powerful stuff. If you can make a state lose its right to vote, that could cut them out of the process of electing the president. And then here you got your city charter. This is the newest one, January the 1st, 2012. I think I paid $6 or $8 for it. But you need to have all of these. You need to have all of them, because all of them going to come into play. You're going to need them at some time and place in the future. And especially, and your Robert Rules of Order, I don't have that with me, but it's a pretty thick book, and it covers a lot of information, a lot of valuable information in that book, especially concerning this charter commission, the way they are functioning. It shows clearly that they don't know what they're doing and they're not following it. And for those who just tuning in, I want to reiterate some of the things that has happened during those the last charter meeting that I was at. The last charter meeting I was at, it was at the city county building. And what they did, those major 5, Richard Mack, Holmes, Tracy Peters, Quincy, he wasn't there, but all the rest of them was there. And what they did, with the exception of Nicole Small, Underwood, and Barbara Wyman, they didn't vote on this. But those 4 or 5 that did, they infringed on the community and the people's right by eliminating Saturday's meetings. Now, we only have 2 really official meetings, and that's the one on Saturday, which normally starts at 12 on the 4th Saturday of the month, and you have the Tuesday, the 2nd Tuesday of the month, which usually starts at 6 o'clock. Those are the 2 official meetings that you have. Now, you have a lot of, I guess you would say, small meetings or committee meetings in between that, which all your meetings should be posted. As a matter of fact, I think according to the Open Meetings Act, the second week after they had the meeting, all of them should have been posted and listed of when they were going to be held and the subject matter. But that hadn't been done. Matter of fact, they still struggling of telling you when the next meeting is going to be for the very next meeting, let alone down the road. And they haven't made no effort to do so. They've been talking about this copy machine. It don't take nobody no 4 or 5 months to get a copy machine. So we got some plans for that. There are some things that need to be done with Tracy Peters. So there are some things that we'll be asking, demanding, and you need to know that you are in a fight. You are in a real fight with this Charter Commission. But the law is on your side. And the only reason why you don't know it, because you don't know what your rights are. You won't pick up a Robert's Rule of Order and try to go through it and see what it says about certain things. You won't pick up a Michigan state or federal constitution or your basic human rights. So you kept in the dark. You puzzled. But if anything, if you don't know anything, you at least should know some of your basic, well, not just basic human rights, but your state and federal constitution. Most of the time you hear them talk about your Bill of Rights. Well, those are pretty, I guess, the most popular ones and the most used. But most of y'all don't even know that. And you need to get familiar with it. If you want your circumstances to change, well, then you have to change. You have to become more knowledgeable about what your rights are, so when they are being violated, you'll be aware of it. Sometimes they're being violated and you don't even have a clue. But I'm not saying that to down you, I'm just telling you the facts. And if you want to change, those are some of the things that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to become more aware of what your rights are. They're also supposed to be having a meeting today, I think, about this so-called social recognition. I think there's supposed to be one at 10 o'clock today. I think it's 1301 Michigan. I'm not for sure because I just found out about this here. And I wrote it down on an envelope. And yeah, it is 1301 Michigan. That's the day at 10 o'clock, Michigan Avenue. They're supposed to be having a facial recognition, I guess, seminar. You know, that's supposed to be the new thing now, facial recognition, which nobody should be willing to agree with that, because with the technology that they got, they could have you at some place that you wasn't even there. And next thing you know, they got charges on you telling you that you could commit the crime, and they showing your face as being there, and you never was there. So that's another hill that you will have to climb. So you don't really, all the perks and all the stuff that they try to tell you about how good it is and how it's going to make it, nah. You don't want to open that can of worms. Trust me. And I'm going to find out some more information about it, what they're planning on doing. And as I find the information out, I will be bringing it to you as I get it, Lord willing. But I want to re-emphasize about what has happened at the last charter meeting that I was at. And that is that the commission has violated and infringed on the community and the people's right to participate in the charter commission process by trying to eliminate Saturday's meetings. Now, when they voted on this, the community was all in agreement about having these meetings on Saturdays at 12 o'clock and on Tuesdays at 6, because there was a lot of discussion on, people's schedule. Some working, some, couldn't make it. So these are the 2 days that the commission agreed on, and the people agreed. Where the sentiment in the community when I was there was, we agreed on that, because that was those the two most, I guess, accountable schedules that most people could make. And Saturday is one of the largest turnouts at 12 o'clock, because most people, if they work through the week, they can make the Saturday's meeting. So that was one of the reasons why they had them on Saturday. They disregarded that. They didn't have no discussion. Just arbitrarily and capriciously, oh no, we're no longer going to have Saturday's meeting. Now, the people, they kept their composure. There were some rumblings, and some, you can hear some dissatisfaction in the crowd, but they wasn't disrupted. And we must see what's going on. I was talking to somebody this morning about this here, about how they have all these policemen. You got 20, 30 policemen around there at a charter committee, and you got crime going on in the street. We don't need all those policemen. They never had no real problem at none of these meetings. The only time that they had a problem at the meeting where safety was even a question was when Carol Weaver, who is the chair, went and made false police reports. And that's a crime in itself. Following a false police report? Not once but twice, from what I understand. And that was the only time that there was any disturbance or anything that would justify even talking about public safety. She caused it. But then, when they put it on 2, 4, and 7 and on some 9, 10 and some of these other stations, when they give it to you, they try to make it look like the people was responsible. No. This was done by the commissioner themselves through the chair, Weaver. She caused all this chaos. And that was the only time that we really had any real disruption. And at this last meeting, they arrested a couple of people, I understand. And I need to get in touch with them, talk to Miko. I understand they arrested him. He was targeted. I'm going to tell you like it is. He was targeted because usually he kind of boisterous and he's kind of loud, and he'd be sitting right up in front. But see, the thing is now, this time he wasn't. He wasn't loud. He wasn't boisterous. He wasn't up front like he was, normally be. And for some reason, he was arrested, and I haven't found out yet what he was supposed to be arrested of. And what their probable cause was, if they even had probable cause. He just was singled out because they know that he is more vocal and more boisterous about usually when we're having these meetings. He's speaking out. Sometimes he speaks out of turn, while the meeting's going on, and he says certain things to get a point across. See, you got to understand one thing. When your participation, which you're supposed to have participation, is only slated during a public comment, that limits how much participation you really have. And to eliminate a meeting altogether is asinine, especially if they think they're going to get away with it. No, that's not happening. Not on my watch. There will be some protests. There will be some objections filed, and then we will proceed. It ain't going to be like those other ones. The other ones are just set up, making you aware of the violations that you have committed, so you can't say when we go to court that you didn't know. You're aware of them because I talk about them enough. But I only just talk about them. I gave you a copy of all those infringements, and you haven't addressed them yet. That's been over 2-3 months. And I'm saying over 2-3 months because every time I go to a meeting, you can count the times that I will have went to a meeting and didn't have a piece of paper or something to give to you all, showing your violations. Not only did I give you something to show your violation, I gave y'all pamphlets showing you how to conduct the budget. That's one reason why Tracy, she's going to be charged too, which I've already told her, so it ain't nothing new to her. She thought that I guess she just thought I was talking, but she'll see. I can show her better than I can tell her. With all the information that she had, and all the information that I've given her, plus what she got from other different places, is no excuse for that money to have to be sent back under no circumstances, because she wasn't doing her job. If she didn't think that she could get enough expenses to keep that money from going back, she should have expressed it to the community to get community input, and I guarantee you that money would have been gone. You know what they say about women. Women love to spend money. I'm guarantee you, if the people had known that they had this money and that it was going to go back, unless they had come up with some kind of expenses to get rid of it, she didn't do that. Matter of fact, I done gave her a couple of suggestions. I haven't heard her say anything about none of them. She know about same thing that you just heard me talk about. You heard me talk about the electronic billboards, handbills. Now, what do it call? I mean, handbills is, that's just standard. Most people, when organizations, when they want to notify the public, they get handbills and just pass them out all over the city, not just in one spot. Like what they're trying to do is sham these meetings down our throat, like we only gonna have meetings down at the city county building. Talk about the next 3 meetings gonna be down at the city county building. Well, they may do that, but we're gonna file a complaint against that because that's not what we agreed upon. When we agreed upon to have these meetings, we said for the benefit of the community, we were going to have it throughout the community. Or we're going to have alternate them, one on the east side, one on the west side, or try to have it centrally located. That was supposed to be the agreement. Not all of them down at the city county building, where it make it inconvenience for everybody, even though they talking about they want to help you pay for your parking fee. They shouldn't have to help you pay for your parking fee because they shouldn't be having them down there anyway. They should be centrally located, or at least one alternating east and west, or close to as centrally located as you can get. That has not been done. It hasn't even been attempted. So that's something that we need to concentrate on. These are a lot of things that we need to concentrate on. And I say now, a lot of y'all don't really see what's going on. We had 3 commissioners that was in the best interest of the community and the city at large. And that was Small, Weimer, and y'all have to excuse me. Our 3 commissioners. And the rest of them, they just act like they just act like they got a license to violate our rights. But that's not going to happen. I mean, there's going to be consequences for them already doing it. I can't say it's not going to happen because it already happened. But there will be consequences. And they're just showing their true colors. They're just showing their true colors. You know, they feel comfortable. You know how it is when you feel comfortable. You flex your muscles. But that's what they was doing down there. But there will be repercussions. Trust me, there will be. We got, the phone's lit up here, so I think I'll take a couple of calls. Hello, you on the air? Can you talk up a little louder? I can hear you.
Hello, you on the air? Good morning.
Okay. How
you
you
hear
doing?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Also, the facial recognition. Do you remember? Did you hear when the council person? What's her name? Horsfield. Yeah, Sheffield. She was saying that the data software company got $1.4 million. So this is why they had already initiated the facial recognition action. So it never was approved by any board of police commissioners. It just slid through all the necessary compliances, and they got a $1.4 million grant to already put facial recognition in authority or out there. So now I think this is why they're fighting so hard, and they arrested that one commissioner because they want to get that money, because their grant is about to expire. So now they want to do what they should have did the first time, which is get approved so that they can get more money. So it's not about safety, y'all. It's all about the very few who's going to get money to abuse you in your community, which is facial recognition business. Also, which is over policing at these meetings, public meetings. That should somehow be some type of violation because, how is it all of a sudden people don't have a right to be compassionate about what they need and have their concerns met respectfully?
Well,
That's not making any sense.
It's that, people need to start filing harassment complaints. When they approach you, unless you are doing something wrong, and they don't have probable cause to even arrest you. Now, first of all, they got to have probable cause, so you have to be doing something to disturb or interrupt the meeting. If you're doing something to disrupt the meeting, if you're talking loud and jumping all up and down like that, okay, that's probable cause. But if you just voicing your opinion, they don't have a right to just come and arrest you because they don't like what you say. There's a difference, and the people need to understand that, because if the police approach you and you're not doing anything wrong, well, then you need to follow up and file a complaint against them.
Exactly.
Now, I know.
Miso and the other person that they abruptly removed from these meetings were never charged. So they, I think, have even more grounds to.
Well, if they don't follow up, they're going to continue to do it. The people just have to understand the process of the system, and when the police stop them, when the police arrest them or attempt to arrest them, if you don't have proper cause, they need to get his badge number and file a complaint.
Exactly, because no one should spend 1 hour, let alone a half a day or overnight in a jail cell and never be charged for anything. Because to me, that's negligent and that's criminal itself.
No, that's good for the person who's been arrested, because if they don't have no charges, unless they have probable cause, I think it used to be 32 hours. They can hold you for 32 hours. That's providing that they got a rational explanation for even holding you. They just can't pick you up arbitrarily, which that's what they used to do, and hold you for 32 hours without having some legitimate reason.
Exactly, infringing on your rights.
So that's one thing that people need to. That's another thing that they need to be looking at.
And also, are they that, like you said, they're doing a poor job of advertising these community meetings, and the fact that they sent money back is showing their hand that they deliberately are not trying to address any concerns or to solve any problems in the community needed to be solved in the community and for the people. Because like you said, the machinery alone that they need, the ink, the paper, the advertisement, a billboard that could constantly give you updates on the meetings and where they're being held. Or also to provide transportation. If y'all going to inconvenience people to come downtown and you have to worry about parking and meters and tickets, you could have got a transportation outlet for the people and pick them up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a number of ways they could use that money besides send it back. But that just shows that the plants that are planted in that commission department is working for corporate greed and not the people's needs. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, thanks for doing it here. See, one thing people need to understand is I don't want them to make it convenient for me to go down to the city hall.
Yeah.
That's not the agreement. The point is you're not supposed to be, people shouldn't have to travel all the way down to City Hall to have this meeting. This is a community meeting, and it's supposed to be central located or alternated. There's nowhere in the world you're supposed to have 3 consecutive meetings down at the city county building, which they know what they're doing. They know a lot of people said that they wasn't going to come to the meeting if they were going to have them down there. So that's their strategy to eliminate the public from participation. So that's another complaint that's going to have to be filed. So I got about 2 or 3 of them already.
On the way.
Well, they already wrote up. I just got to get signatures for them. So we're gonna be having some strategy meetings and get everybody to sign them, and then we're gonna turn them in, and then the next step will be going to court.
All right.
It ain't gonna be taking no forever to do that, because we're gonna ask for it under the Freedom of Information Act, which I know that they already should have this information. It's nothing that should take forever.
Okay.
All right, we got another caller here.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hello, you on the air?
Hi, Carl.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I enjoy your show.
Oh, thank you.
Carl, I'm having a problem where I hear you for a minute and then it'll go where I can't hear you. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
You having problem with? Well, you say you having a problem with the sound?
I guess it's the sound, yeah, because I can see you clearly.
You can see me clearly, but you say it's fading out, in and out?
Yes.
Are you on a cell phone or what kind of phone are you using?
I'm watching you on my phone, on my smartphone.
On your smartphone?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. some people say it could be phones, and some I'm not sure what that problem is. But with them phones, it kind of we don't have no control over.
Okay, but I pulled you up on the internet on the phone.
You put me okay. You get me on the internet on the phone. Now, is that you having problems with that? Is that going in and out?
Yes. If you would be clear, I can hear you for a minute, and then it just stops. I can yet see you. I just can't hear you.
You know what? I hadn't thought about that, but it just come to me. Also, you can call the people that you get your phone from. You can ask them about that, and they might be able to come up with, because they got more information on their phone than I do, because it seems like the phones are the only one, the cell phones seem like to be the only ones that are having this problem now. Normally, like on television, they don't seem to have that. You know, they can see and they can hear, but it's just the phones, and I don't know what we can do about that. But I want people to continue to call in and let us know so we can stay on top of it and at least try to find out what the problem is so we can solve it.
All right, dear. Thank you.
And thank you. Thanks for doing it here. Yes, it's some things that we have been talking about this morning for all you viewers who just have tuned in, and I want to reemphasize some of the things that we talked about. One of the things that we talked about was, as you know, always we tell you to get your reference to your charter, your state and federal constitution, and your basic human right pamphlet. You need all those, and your Robert's Rule of Order. So there are 5 reference tools that you need. The Robert's Rule of Order, the basic human right pamphlet, your state and federal constitution, and your city charter. Now, what I mean by reference tools, these are things that you need because with things going on the way they are throughout the city, one of these documents or books will probably cover that, or will have something to enlighten you about the process and regarding any of those 5 I guess you call them documents or books, because most of them, and the killing part, the only 2 that may cost you something is the charter and the Robert's Rule of Order. The rest of them is free. You can order the human rights pamphlet. Matter of fact, we have gave the address on the program a couple of times, and I'm gonna have to have it with me next time I'm on here and start giving it out every time we broadcast, so people get more familiar with it, because it take a little time for you to get that one. I know I got mine. It took me almost a week before I got it, but you maybe could get them. You may can get them sooner, but because I done had mine for over 2 or 3 years now, so it might be a better way, quicker way where you can get them. But your state and federal constitution, you can get them from any of your state representatives. They send them to you free. You just call them up and tell them that you want one, and they usually send it. This one here I got is an old one. You got Morris Hood on there. I had another one I think had Kanye's name on there. So you just call any of them up and tell them that you need a state and federal constitution. The federal constitution, I know they give you. Now the state constitution, you might have to go online. But you can go online and download it. So it's free. And in your charter, you could. Now I don't know about charge you a fee for your child. I know I have downloaded the charter, not this one, but the last one, and I downloaded it and it didn't cost me anything. Now, I don't know if they're charging now or what, but I know you can view it without cost. You can go and you can view it, and you can go through the whole charter, and it won't cost you, shouldn't cost you anything, unless they have changed things, and which I doubt it. But, you know, that's just some bit of information that I want to pass along to you, because these things are very important. And you're going to find out probably in the next, I'm going to say, couple of months. You're going to see how important they is. Especially your basic human rights is going to be incorporated with, or I should say they're going to be incorporated with the basic human rights, because they got me saying the way they want us to think, that your basic human rights is less than when it is more important, because that's where your other rights stem from. It's not the other way around, like they want us to think, that your Constitution, your federal and state Constitution was first. No, there wasn't. Your basic human rights were first. You was a human being before you even know there was any such thing as a Constitution. So your basic human rights is essential that you know them. And then all your other rights stem from that. So that's what you need to understand. And you got section in your state and your federal Constitution that allows you to bring in your basic human rights or any other rights outside of your state and federal Constitution under Article 1, Section 23, and the 9th Amendment of the federal Constitution. When you go into, like, if you go into court, if you cite that and then cite your basic human rights, that gives the judge the jurisdiction to entertain those rights. Now, I'm telling you this because it's very important moving forward. We need to understand, when you go to court now, these are some of the things that you need to include in your action. I don't care what kind of action it is. This is one thing that you need to include. This is how you flip the script and give that balance where you can even participate in the process, because the way it is now is rigged against you. And you know, you can maneuver through it even though it's rigged. But you got to know the process. You got to know what your rights are in order to do that. So, you know, it can be done. It's not hard. Maybe I just feel like it's easy for me because I've been doing it for years. I ain't just started doing it something. It's in my DNA, you can say. I've been doing this for, I can't even remember. I know I've been doing it for over 40 years. So a lot of this stuff becomes like air. You know, do you remember certain things? And that's why some of the things that I see with the commissioner, it stands out. As soon as I see it, I automatically know this is a violation. Because I haven't just bought the book, I have looked through it, and it's very interesting. There's a lot of information in the Robert's Rule of Order. Just about everything that they've done, they have something that's tell you how to proceed, how to function. And you know, that's why they don't talk about it, because they know they're doing wrong. A thief, if he's a thief, he don't want to talk about the law and how you can catch him. That's insane. So they doing what they do. You know, they know what they're doing. Don't think that they're ignorant. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think, well, some of them, I'll take that back. A few of them may be ignorant because they're not gonna pick up a book. They just figure they can go through it because they figure they got the votes and they can do what they want. So they don't figure that they have to follow no law. I mean, a lot of them. I mean, it's a few of them that think like that. But we here to tell them that's not so. And that book is there for a reason. And since you have adopted it, you have a duty and an obligation to follow it. Just that simple. Now, when you don't follow it, and we cite you for violating those rules, well then, you know, now there's a question, are you qualified, or do you have the, what they call it, the attitude to even be a charter member? Because when you consistently violate those rules that govern you, what the word they used to use, they said that a person, when you can't correct them and they can continue to violate, incorrigible. That you can't, you know, there's no hope for you. You're going to violate because you don't know no other way. That's the only way you want to do it, or you just don't know. You know, like Hassan used to say, this is the fastest hour in show business. And I'm just here to tell you that I'm here, and I'm trying to be here next week. Hopefully Gloria will be back with me. And I just want you to know about those challenge meetings and the violations. We will be back in touch, and we will see you next week with the Lord's willing. Until next week, see ya.
FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park.
WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions